faces, worst generation, cooking up a feast while he's turning through the pages. Theories that he's making, from showing it insane and blocked in, analyzing using observation. Yeah, observation, rambling addiction.
Hello there, StrawHatLucas, and welcome to another episode of Rambling Addiction, the series where I talk and you listen. So, Deadpool and Wolverine has hit theaters. As of recording, it has been out for 2 days, and what a movie, guys. Now, the first part of this is going to be a non-spoiler review. That is for my viewers who have not seen the movie yet. After that, I will be getting into a spoiler discussion of the events of the film. So, spoiler warning, and I will put another spoiler warning up before I get into that part. So, Ryan Reynolds is back as the Merc with the Mouth, and my man Hugh Jackman has returned as Wolverine. I gotta be honest, the chemistry between these two is insane. I don't know why it took so long to get them on screen together. I mean, they were technically on screen together during Wolverine Origins, but like, do we really want to discuss that at all? Hashtag not my Deadpool. But yeah, the chemistry between these two is just dynamic. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. The way they play off of each other, the way that Hugh's Wolverine is compared to Ryan's Deadpool, they just really knocked it out of the park, if I'm being honest. Now, the overall film is good. It's a very nice buddy comedy. You get to learn a little bit more about this version of... Man, I'm trying so hard not to say anything spoiler-wise. It's kind of difficult, I won't lie. I don't know how some YouTubers do it. And Deadpool seems to have grown a bit since the last time we saw him. I think it was the right choice to bring back Hugh Jackman for this, if I'm honest. It was going to be a challenge either way to bring Deadpool into the mainline MCU without disregarding everything that's happened in his previous 2 movies. And I think Hugh being there was a necessary anchor that we needed. But yes, it was a very enjoyable experience. The one gripe I have that I can say without getting into spoilers is the main villain. I'm not going to say who it is, obviously. I just feel like their writing wasn't there, which is sad because I am a fan of that character from the comics and the way that they did them in the comics. But I just feel like they could have done more here, right? They could have done just a little bit more. That said, I don't think there was a moment in this film where I wasn't laughing or caught up in the moment of it all. You know what I mean? Go watch it. Like I said, I can't really say much on the no spoiler side just because as a person, it's so hard for me to talk about something without going into spoiler territory. Except for Dawn to Dawn, I did a whole video without really spoiling any of the plot of that, so I don't know. Maybe I'm a liar. But yeah, it's a solid film, guys. Go watch it, and I'm going to get into the spoilers now because I can't hold it back anymore. Yes, I know I only made it a couple minutes into the video before like going into spoilers, but like, what can you do? So, final spoiler warning. I'm about to go all out, floodgates open on Deadpool and Wolverine. Ready? Okay, let's go. So the intro to this movie actually topped Deadpool 1 for me. Like, I thought Deadpool 1's intro was iconic and that we would never top that. But then we come here where we see Deadpool digging up the body of Logan from the end of Logan and then using it to murk a bunch of TVA agents, all while doing the choreography for the Bye 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 music video from NSYNC. Like that whole dance, the bye bye bye, bye bye bye. And then we get to, after this, you know, we do the typical Deadpool thing. To figure out why we're here, let's go here kind of thing, which they did in the first 2 movies. Like, it's kind of expected at this point. And we see that Wade is now living his life as a car salesman and is working with Peter and has lost Vanessa because he tried to go out for the Avengers in his universe and they denied him because they didn't know if he had what it would take to save the world. And we saw a parallel with that with his relationship with Vanessa, where she wanted him to do more with his abilities, but he just couldn't bring himself to do it. He kind of got lost after what we saw in Deadpool 2. So yeah, the birthday party's pretty cool. We see a lot of the X-Force members. Shatterstar's there for some reason. We see Peter, obviously. Peter's the GOAT. He's keeping Deadpool's costume in his locker in case Wade ever wants to go out in Deadpool again. We also see Yukio and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. And sadly, a lack of Colossus. My wife keeps jokingly say that this movie only gets 2 out of 10 because there's not enough Colossus. That's her favorite character from the Deadpool franchise. And we've watched all of the X-Men movies, so she knows that Colossus is not usually like that. But nonetheless, she is a huge fan of Colossus, like has a Funko Pop and everything. She loves my boy and she wanted him to be in this movie so much more than what he was. So yeah, party's interrupted by strippers, TVA agents, and Wade is taken to the TVA where we meet one of our antagonists, Paradox. Paradox is a member of the TVA who is not for the reformation that we saw at the end of Loki season 2. So he's making this thing called, I think it's like the Time Ripper or something like that, and he's planning on destroying Wade's timeline, which is in threat of destroying itself because Logan, who died in the movie Logan, was the like key figure in his universe. I can't remember the term they used, but that was like the man who was holding the fabric of that universe together. And since he was gone, now that universe is dying. Wade, hearing this, doesn't think, oh man, there's nothing I can do for this universe. He thinks, I'm gonna go find me another Wolverine though and bring him to my universe. And I won't lie, this scene where he's going through and meeting all of the Wolverine variants had me dying, especially that first one he came across that was like comic book accurate height for Wolverine. I need a tiny Wolverine for MCU Wolverine, please. We also got to see Henry Cavill's Wolverine, which was hilarious. Like him turning around, he's like, from the back you look like Henry Wolverine. Like it was just so funny, man. It got me, I ain't gonna lie. But finally we land on this story's Wolverine, and this story's Wolverine, big spoiler alert, later in the movie we find out he kind of turned down the call to action, and one night while he was out getting drunk at the bar, because he's a mutant and everyone hates mutants in his world, in almost every other world in the Marvel canon, let's be real. But anyway, he was out drinking and the entire team of X-Men in his universe were killed by mutant hunters. So he holds that close to his chest, and yeah. Anyway, Deadpool recruits him after he gets drunk and gets Whiskey Dick of the Claws and takes him back to the TVA, where they both are promptly pruned. They are then sent into the Void, where we get to meet our first cameo of all cameos, and it is Chris Evans. My wife was freaking out. I won't lie. She thought Captain America was coming back, and I kept telling her, I don't think it's Cap. I think it's the other character that he played. She's like, what other character? What other character? And then he said Flame On, and I was like, I told you. Not only that, but we also got to see Toad from the original X-Men movies, Aaron Sanford as Pyro, which was crazy to me because I haven't even seen that guy act in anything since like 2006, The Hills Have Eyes, or maybe X-Men The Last Stand. But yeah, it was cool seeing Pyro and Toad, and then obviously Sabretooth. Sad that we didn't get a big climactic fight with Sabretooth, because I know everyone has been waiting for it. That said, still cool. Still very, very cool. Then we get to meeting the villain of this movie, which is Cassandra Nova. Cassandra Nova is Charles Xavier's sister in the comics, his twin. She's been in this world sent to the Void to keep her under control. And this is what I was saying in my non-spoiler section of this video, which lasted only a minute, is that I felt like they just could have done more with Cassandra. Like, it was awesome what they did with her. And I thought that the use of her powers in the movie was really good body horror. I just wanted them to do more with her. I wanted to see more of her. We got like 2 interactions with her before the finale. But yeah, so during this time we also get to see Psylocke, Lady Deathstrike. There's a couple other mutants that are there in Cassandra's like care. But yeah, so Deadpool and Wolverine escape from Cassandra after watching Johnny Storm get his skin ripped off. I know I shouldn't be laughing at that, but the way they did that was just hilarious. And then him saying all the things that Johnny said to him, and he was like, Johnny's like, I never said any of that. I never said any of that. And then we get that post-credit scene too, like chef's kiss. It was so good. But yeah, so Deadpool and Wolverine escape from Cassandra Nova. We then meet the nice pool guy, like you guys know who I'm talking about. It's the samurai Deadpool with the long hair, and it's Ryan Reynolds' pretty face. And of course, the goat of all goats, the best character in this entire movie, Dogpool. Like seriously, can I please just like for like 2 seconds, please just pet Dogpool? Kevin Feige, come to my house, bring me Dogpool. They are looking for the Resistance so they can go up against Cassandra Nova. And luckily, the nice Deadpool gives him his Honda Odyssey, which, come on, like after that beginning bit where he says the Honda Odyssey is trash, like that was just great. Like out of all the things they could have called back to from the beginning, that being it, like, I don't know, it just got me. So yeah, they take the Honda Odyssey and they go meet up with the Resistance, who consist of Blade, Elektra, Gambit, and Laura, as in Wolverine's daughter, Laura. I know you'll lambast me in the comments, but I could not remember what her X experiment number was. So yes, they meet up with the Resistance and decide to go after Cassandra Nova. One thing I gotta say about these guys is Channing Tatum's Gambit was cracking me up. The fact that like Ryan Reynolds kept acting like he couldn't understand the Cajun accent, like I was excited when they announced the Gambit movie back in the day. I really thought Channing Tatum could pull it off, and then obviously it got canceled. We never got to see it. Here we are getting to see Channing Gambit. I don't know, my man kind of killed it, I won't lie. Like, I don't know if I could sit through a full movie of him doing Gambit, but like, this was awesome. And I really do hope we see his version of Gambit again at some point. So yes, after meeting up with the Resistance, they decide to attack Cassandra Nova, which they go to do. The plan is to get the Juggernaut's helmet. Oh yeah, the Juggernaut was there, I forgot to mention that.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
The plan is to get the Juggernaut's helmet and put it on Cassandra Nova to either A, kill her, or B, force her to send Wade and Logan back to where they need to go. I keep wanting to say TVA, but I remembered that they were going back to Deadpool's timeline. But I feel like this is the problem with only seeing a movie once and then doing a full review. I was going to say TVA, but I feel like they were trying to get back to the TVA and she sent them back to Wade's timeline. Either way, they get back to Wade's timeline. They figure out what's going on. Cassandra Nova shows up. Big climactic battle happens. They get the helmet on Cassandra. Pyro betrays her. Almost all of the cameo mutants that we saw die. Psylocke, Toad, Juggernaut.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
But those core resistance fighters stand out through the end. Like, it's pretty awesome, actually. I'm not gonna lie. Elektra has some good moments. Gambit has some awesome moments. Blade, I mean, there's only one Blade, right? Also, can I just, for a moment, Wesley Snipes was cracking my shit up this entire movie. Like, from the moment he appeared, and he's like, please save Magneto, please save Magneto. Oh, he's dead. No, Cassandra destroyed the helmet right after she killed him. Like, it's just, it was so good, man. But yeah, so Wade and Logan go to Wade's timeline, and Cassandra Nova comes with them to get the Time Ripper, Time Destroyer, Time Shredder, whatever it was called, I can't remember. The MacGuffin. And with her, she brings the Deadpool core. So I'm not gonna lie, I read a lot of spoilers for this movie. Like, I knew who the Resistance were and all that. I did not know the Deadpool core were gonna show up like this. Like, I knew Lady Deadpool was in it. I knew the nice Deadpool was in it. I knew Dogpool was in it. I didn't know Headpool was gonna show up. I didn't know Old West Deadpool was gonna show up. You know what I mean? Like, that. I had no idea all of these Deadpools were gonna show up. This fight scene, by the way, is amazing. We get to see Wolverine's cowl finally in live action, which was chef's kiss. I did have some problem with the CGI around his eyes at time, but nonetheless, seeing this after waiting, 23 years or whatever since the first X-Men movie came out, finally seeing Wolverine in the classic yellow and blue, just it was enough to make a grown man cry, if I'm being honest. But yeah, this whole action sequence was hilarious. Him taking nice Deadpool and using him as a human shield, and then be like, how was I supposed to know he wouldn't regenerate? You're gonna live through this. Head explodes. Amazing. Just amazing, right? Amazing. Also, Blake Lively is Ladypool. Like, I called that. Everybody called that. I don't know why people thought it was gonna be Taylor Swift. But yeah, it was just a really well choreographed fight scene, if I'm honest. It was a good time. And then they defeat all of them, and then all of a sudden they start regenerating. He's like, oh yeah, I don't know why I didn't think that they would regenerate. And of course, what stops the Deadpool core? Well, the only thing that could stop the Deadpool core. Peter. That's right. Peter Pool comes in at the end, and every Deadpool universe has a Peter. And Peter's mighty fine in every Deadpool's universe. Like, it's just such a funny anticlimactic way to end such a climactic showdown. And I'm not gonna lie, I think it really worked. So we then learn to destroy this MacGuffin. Deadpool or Logan will have to sacrifice themselves and touch these two matter and antimatter tube things together. So they Guardians of the Galaxy it, as in they both kind of clutch it and hold hands, and we see and that stops them from being torn apart at the molecular level, like we see with what happens to Cassandra Nova during this whole thing. So Deadpool and Logan live. Logan stays in Deadpool's world with him, because it somehow fixed his timeline. And him and Vanessa are hinted to get back together. So yeah, that is basically the plot summary for Deadpool and Wolverine. But what did I think of it? Well, if I'm honest, I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10, guys. I thought it was solid. I think it was a right step in the right direction for the MCU, especially with how lackluster some things have been lately. I'm not one of those MCU fans who was very upset with how Phase 6 has gone. I enjoyed the Marvels. I enjoyed Quantumania a lot, actually. Still don't understand why people were so upset about it. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was amazing. We're not going to talk about Thor 4 at all, though. What is it with even numbered Thor movies just not being that good? Yeah, I mean, solid 8 out of 10. It was funny. I was laughing the entire time, almost. The one thing negative, like I could say, is I don't think that they handled Cassandra Nova right. I needed more from her. Most MCU villains are present for more than that in the film, and it just felt like we didn't spend enough time getting to know why she was doing what she was doing, which I get, like, she's supposed to be an agent of chaos, and there's no real reason to why she's doing what she's doing, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I feel like there should have been more. My other complaint is with the Wolverine, actually. Nothing against Hugh or his acting. I think he did phenomenal in this film. I mean, phenomenal. The way he played with Ryan, the way that he delivered everything, very, very well done. That said, I feel like his exposition about what happened to him shouldn't have happened with Laura. I think it should have happened with Deadpool in the diner. For some reason, it just didn't hit me emotionally, like most moments like that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe do. I'm not saying it was badly acted or even written. I think that what they did in how they handled that Wolverine's grief was well done. I just don't know. It was missing something to me. Only to me, though. Like, I'm sure other people out there connected with it and were, you know, more moved than I was by it. But in my opinion, I just wasn't hit by it. Even my wife, she was kind of getting misty-eyed and stuff when he was sitting there like, oh, they're all gone, you know, and it's because I wasn't there and stuff. But I don't know. It didn't hit for me. That said, the line that Laura hit him with the, you were always the wrong guy, like that actually got me a little bit. It wasn't enough to like bring me to tears or even get misty-eyed or anything. It hit in the right spot, right? Especially after the events of Logan. So yeah, in closing, I did enjoy this film. I think, like I said, it's a step in the right direction for Marvel. I have enjoyed a lot of this recent phase in the multiverse saga as a whole. I know there have been a lot of detractors to it and people who did not enjoy it, especially in the post-Endgame era, which I never understood, because right after Endgame ended, like that whole, the Infinity Saga ended, we got No Way Home, we got Wakanda Forever, we got Guardians of the Galaxy 3, we got, like I said, I enjoyed Ant-Man Quantumania. I don't know why people were so upset about it. One thing I also want to say is I think it was right for Deadpool to bring up the whole like, the multiverse thing isn't working, can we just move on already? Because it shows that Marvel's listening to their fans and they understand what's going on, and that this is a big transitional phase in between the Infinity Saga and what we will know as the Mutant Saga, from what inside sources and Kevin Feige himself has said. So it's really nice to see that they, you know, they know that not everyone is happy with how things have gone and that they've lost some fans. But I think that means going forward that they will do right by not only general audiences, but their core fans as well. And especially with the Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom announcement, like, that's huge, guys. Even if you're not the biggest fan of the announcement, you have to think that this is the culmination of the multiverse saga. Originally it was going to be Kang, but Jonathan Majors, I don't even know to go into what happened there. But this will be the culmination of the multiverse saga. Doom is integral for Secret Wars, so we knew someone was coming as Doom. And to use a Tony Stark variant, possibly, because they did call him Victor Von Doom in that press conference. But seeing Robert Downey Jr. come back as Doom is insane. And like I said, this is going to be the culmination of it, guys. This is going to be the point of the multiverse saga will end with Secret Wars. I'm just really excited to see where they go with that whole angle, and I'm excited to see what Deadpool is going to bring to the Avengers. But yes, I've been StrawHatLucas, captain of the Last Ark. If this is your first time watching an episode of Rambling Addiction, welcome. I just kind of ramble into the camera and talk about things that I like. So if you enjoyed this, make sure you hit the subscribe button, like, comment, ring the bell icon, do all of that YouTube stuff. I had a lot of fun with this one. I might do more movie reviews in the future, not sure yet. Probably stick to only MCU at first and kind of test the waters, you know what I mean? But anyway, I'm rambling again at the end, right? But anyway, yes, if you haven't watched this movie yet, I don't know why you're watching this, and 2, go enjoy it. It is a good time. But more importantly than anything, have a wonderful, wonderful night.